Something else that happened is they found gloves. Okay, we talked about that with Phil Holloway before you guys got here. They found a pair of gloves, and everybody says, okay, it's the desert, you're going to see gloves. But it is kind of interesting that it's in exactly the right place. It's not too far away from Nancy's house, and the gloves, they're not in the middle of like an area people prune from the look of it. It's like roadside. It almost has the feel of somebody driving away and chucking things out the window. And then sure enough, we know that the police went back. They found these yesterday evening in the daylight hours, clearly. The sun had not set. You can see that in the video because the New York Post happened to be traveling with them. And they go back at 2:15 in the morning, not to that exact spot, guys, but not too far from there. I'm just judging from the map my team made, maybe half a mile farther south to search in the darkness. So what's that about?
I don't understand searching in the darkness, and I've done a million of these searches, but Fitz, go ahead.
Now, all I was going to say, and Maureen, you've been on these kind of task forces, at some point they start working around the clock, and you have 3 different shifts, maybe 2 different shifts, 12 hours each. Some kind of a lead comes in at midnight, a couple agents look at each other, the boss says, yeah, sure, hey, go out. And maybe just something as inconsequential as that. I don't mean the evidence is inconsequential or what they found, but it could be, hey, guys, we're just sitting here, the calls aren't coming in at, whatever time it is. Let's go out with our flashlights, put up some floodlights maybe and search this particular area. And I'm not sure if that's exactly when they found these gloves or they were looking for something else at that point. And there's also a reflective bag, as we noticed, Megyn and Maureen, and maybe just shining a flashlight across some of this wide, depth and breadth alongside these roadways, you'd get a reflection that you wouldn't normally necessarily pick up in the daylight with a backpack that may blend in with the flora, the vegetation, et cetera. So I don't want to put too much into the time of night that the agents were out there, except, hey, nothing else is happening. I've covered my leads. Let's go take a ride and look at some of these things. And someone picks up what they're doing. They also may want to avoid the media knowing what they're doing, but of course someone saw them, and that's
There's
how
no
that
avoiding
goes.
us.
Yeah, and that's
Excellent
okay.
point on the reflective material on that backpack, Fitz, because first of all, that backpack, if it's gray, you're not even going to see it when you're out there walking. It's going to be really hard. It's super bright sunlight, and everything is just those light camo colors, and that gray backpack would fall right into it. But with regard, if I could for a moment on those gloves, I think the idea with the gloves is just, I'm just so excited about this piece of evidence for a number of reasons. Number one, it's going to have the guy's DNA on it. There's no way it's not going to. Secondly, if he put those gloves on while he was in his car before they got out to conduct this crime that they committed, and they put their hand in the door handle to open it, they could almost superimpose fingerprints that were on that door handle onto the glove and then transfer them onto some surface within the property or on the doors or on that housing of the Nest camera.
Would that still be here all this time later, Maureen? 10, 11 days later?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, wow. Really? You're confident?
Yeah.
Great.
I think
not to mention touch DNA.
And what you're earlier...
Could he be that dumb to throw the things out the window?
Well, my guess was when I first heard it, he stopped to go to the bathroom and he took the gloves off and may have tried to put them in his pocket, and it was pitch black and he didn't realize it, and they just fell to the ground while he was urinating.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, you're not foreseeing the entire country bearing down on your crime and the amount of searching and resources and 100 FBI agents or however many it is. You're not thinking like, this is a dumb move to leave these gloves here. I'm off the crime scene at least.
And before a big op, you always, either before or after, you want to go to the washroom, right, Fitz? Especially as a guy.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Or have the stuff in the bottle to clean your hands. But yeah, I mean, of course, maybe within a 20-foot radius of those gloves, pick up some of the soil and look for any DNA material in there. I mean, we could probably find animal DNA, but also, and I think your earlier guest before us, Megyn, suggested, besides his own DNA on it or fingerprints, we could also have the DNA of Nancy Guthrie. So, and that would certainly tie the gloves in directly to the crime. And what we have to hope here too is that perhaps this guy is in CODIS. That's the national DNA database that they can run. So if there is DNA found, they could possibly come up with a name, an address conceivably right away, but he has to be in there for some sort of prior crime that would, in fact, the law permits his DNA to be put in there, his write-up, so to speak. So there's a lot that can come from those gloves. It may come back to someone's DNA in CODIS who has nothing to do with the crime, and we all have to be prepared for that. But just like the other guy, double backpack guy, we're calling him, and these gloves, they all have to be worked to their logical conclusion until investigators can absolutely rule them out that they have nothing to do with Nancy's
Maureen, how long would it
abduction.
take to get the DNA test back on those gloves, which they found yesterday afternoon, like around 4 or 5 in the evening?
The turnaround can be as fast as 24, 48 hours, especially with access to the FBI lab. They've got a bunch of 10-pound brains there on scene, but they can also ship it right back, have 2 agents jump on a flight and bring it right back to the lab. So they're gonna get it done very, very quickly. It would also be a little bit of a bonus if they could find some of that crushed foliage from the front porch with a little bit of blood from the guy's shoes right there next to those gloves.
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, we've been discussing loosely in this past hour, like, did he have an accomplice driving the car, watching Nancy, helping him with the disposal of some of the materials? Don't forget, Kash Patel did say on Hannity 2 nights ago, persons of interest. We have persons, plural. He's not dumb. He understands to make it plural, it means something than to just say we have a person, old Carlos. So, query who else he's looking at there. By the way, on the Carlos thing, there was reporting that explained some of why they got to him. Nerdy Addict, who was the one who posted that video of Pac-Man, he reported that Carlos was detained based on cell phone usage data and traffic analysis, which would make sense because Carlos said they didn't even interview me when they approached me. They put cuffs on me. I sat there for 2 hours. They searched my home. They took my phone. They took my mother-in-law's phone. They took my wife's phone. They took my kids' phones. And then they left. And they battered their way into my house, and they caused some damage. My wrists hurt. But he said they didn't even interview him. And as you know, later, the FBI said his alibi checked out, reportedly said. So that would make some sense if they were going off of cell phone usage data and traffic analysis. We know he was a DoorDash delivery driver. Maybe they spotted him. Yeah, he was in the area.
Around. He's going up and down that block. He may have parked in the area behind him for a few minutes, and they were sorry about that.
No, I can hear you. I got you.
He may have his movements must have been suspicious.
And then when they get their hands on his phone, they know easily within an hour where he was on the night in question during the hours in question, right? That doesn't take the FBI long to run down.
Not at all. And I'm sure there's a number of defense attorneys in the area reaching out to Carlos saying, we're going to sue the government for you. And Megyn, as a lawyer, you know this. There's such a thing as known as exigent circumstances. Mm-hmm. And I've learned that in a few different law enforcement academies. I'm not a lawyer, but it's very, very rare that can actually come into play here. And I think a kidnapped person who may be, conceivably dying without medication or heart, anything to do with her heart problem, those kind of factors can kick in where Miranda warnings can be put aside and emergency searches can be done like having been done here. They can still contest it in court later, even civilly with this guy. But just so people don't think there's all kinds of rights being violated here, exigent circumstances is a legal term, and that kind of covers the agent's investigative actions at this part. He didn't always seem to be complaining. I think he said basically, besides his wrist being a little sore or something, the agents treated him okay. But they had to do that. And
they didn't rough him up. They just put the handcuffs on him. International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There's a never-ending list of reasons gold has risen over 700% in the last 20 years. And a never-ending list of reasons smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with Birch Gold Group. Gold can thrive during uncertainty, which is why it's a crucial part of a balanced strategy. It gives you peace of mind, given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold.
Just text MK to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider letting Birch Gold help you diversify with gold, so you too can have peace of mind regardless of the uncertainty. Text MK to 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.